Oh,
And
read your contracts, people.
Please do.
You read them line by line, just like me. Sarah, and the people who are listening to this episode know that Sarah's not like this and that I have to read our contracts. And Sarah will tell you, she's like, I'll sign it and then figure it out later. Read your contracts, people. Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Carwell Chronicles, you guys. I am not technically alone today, but Sarah is not with me. Who is with me is, I've been trying to think of how to intro you, like the best order to do it. Licensed cosmetologist, owner of Ikigai Head Spa, and my much, much older sister, Taylor Brown.
much older.
I'm totally kidding. She's like, what, 15 months older than me?
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my mom just said boom, boom. Actually, boom, 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 because we do have a little brother.
Right.
But yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to have you here. I've like kind of prepped this a little bit previously where they kind of know that we want to start a podcast together. So this is kind of a test episode for us, you guys. This is going on Carwell Chronicles because we are going to talk about Taylor's business. But we're going to see how we do podcasting together.
Yeah.
It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited. But I want you to start off by introducing yourself a little bit, like give people a little bit of a background on who you are and what Ikigai Head Spa is. Because now that we are trying to just be an entrepreneurship brand, we get to bring on people who have businesses outside of short-term rentals, and that's so exciting.
Yes, very exciting. It excites me that you guys do that too, because becoming an entrepreneur can be really hard. So like seeing the community and being a part of it is so helpful. So I love that you guys are branching off that way.
Thanks. I'm excited.
Yes. Okay. So introduction. So yes, I'm Taylor. I'm 32.
Much older than me.
So much older. I'm so old. Dog mom to Olive and Asparagus. My two little Yorkies. And just a little background, I guess. I don't know. Grew up small town with my sisters, my family. Went to college and transferred a lot. Like I had no clue what I wanted to do. I kept switching, wasn't liking it. Decided to get an associate's degree, just general to transfer into a bachelor's program. And then had no money. I was so broke and I did not want to fall back on my family. So I decided to join the military, which was super weird because I don't know if you've talked about it before, but like mom and dad were in, that's where they met. My grandma was in, my older sister was in, and it was never a thought in my mind until literally the last minute. And I went into the recruiter's office and just said like, just graduated college. I would like to leave as soon as possible. And I think I left within like a month or two.
Very fast.
Yeah, it was very fast, which I feel like I do everything in my life like that now that I'm reflecting publicly.
That's okay.
And yeah, so then I just left, went into the military. I did 7 years. I just got out I say just, like it wasn't 3 years ago. I got out in 2022.
3 years?
In May of 2022 was my... Yeah.
No way it's been that long. That's crazy.
It feels insane. Like, I thought that day would never come. When I joined, I was not having the best time. And I remember just being like, wow, this is a prison sentence. And just looking and being like, because I knew I would get out when I was like 29, turning 30. Like that year I would turn 30. And it just felt like it would never come. And now it's so far in my past. Mm-hmm. And yeah. And so now, fast forward, worked in corporate life a little bit, decided to go back to school at, how old was I? 30, 31? I think 31, I quit my corporate job, decided to go back to school, and I've done 2 rounds of school and started a business during that as well. So, and then we just opened this last Sunday.
Yes.
So a long time in the
making.
making. Thanks.
Yeah. So you gave a really good background because everything that you touched on, I literally have written down to dive deeper into. So that's so exciting. I want to start with you enrolling in college and what you started your major as, because I also changed my major like 6 times. I went to a bunch of different schools, and I think you realized quicker than I did that you didn't want to do those things and kind of like ended up joining the military instead. But can you talk about where you enrolled, why, and like the major that you chose at that point in time?
Yes. Do you just want the first one, or do you want like the lineup?
Let's do the lineup.
Okay.
Because it was, wait, was it 3?
Yeah.
Baker, Central, CC?
2 CCs. I went to GRCC.
GRCC. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot. I've been to like 8 colleges.
We both did this. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
this is where we're twinning. And the funny part, the ironic part is you are like my dream life of what my dream life looked like when I was 18.
Gosh.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a break from the episode to shout out one of our sponsors, Minoan. Are you running a short-term rental? You know how important it is to create a space that's both stunning and functional. That's why we love Minoan. Minoan makes it easy to furnish and restock your rental with high-quality, stylish pieces from premium brands at up to 60% off. Plus, their centralized ordering lets you check out across multiple brands in one seamless cart. No stress, no hassle. Excuse me, only having one place to look for my receipts when my bookkeeper inevitably asks for them? Thank you, Minoan. Then, turn guest praise into profit with a digital showroom where you can showcase your design expertise and allow your guests to shop their stay. And the best part, Minoan is free to use, so you can elevate your space without breaking the bank. We use Minoan ourselves, and trust us, it's a game changer. All right, let's get back to the episode.
So like when I graduated and I wanted to go to school for fashion, and Central had a fashion merchandising program, and I wanted to do like marketing. Like I wanted to be like a magazine marketing fashion guru person.
I do remember that now. You wanted to work for a magazine.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself. Just like the thing, like looking back at me now, so I went to Central, right? And I get into these classes, and Central to me was huge. Like I grew up in Grant.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. So I go to Central and there's probably like maybe 200 in a class, like big classes for me.
That's bigger than our complete graduating class.
Yeah. In one class.
Yeah.
And like these people were so fashion forward. I was like, oh, wait a second. Like gauchos aren't in. Like,
what are you talking about?
Okay. Yeah. So it was just a little intimidating to me. And then I also was very homesick, which I never thought would be me, but I was. And I cried every day to my mom. And so I just, kind of shifted and realized it wasn't what I wanted to do, because I thought more of like, okay, I want to have a job where I can do everywhere, like in case I relocate or whatever. And to me, like fashion at that time, I was like, okay, to be successful, you would have, social media wasn't huge at that time. Like
That's so funny.
2000,
so long ago.
2011, like Facebook had just come out 3 years. I was a freshman in high school. So it just wasn't, you couldn't do as much with it. So I was like, I want to get a job anywhere. So then I transferred to just move home. I transferred to GRCC because they also had a fashion program. And I thought, okay, maybe I can shift it. I went there for a semester. I liked the campus, but again, wasn't loving the idea of fashion. So then I transferred to Baker College in Fremont, is where they have a hub. And I went there for a year to do medical assisting.
That is like not in my brain.
It's barely in mine.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I thought you like dual enrolled at Baker in high school.
No, it was like a whole year. And I just, like during the week, I don't even remember where I used to work. Like I think I worked at Jeans the whole time.
Was that because that would have been maybe around the same time that I was working at Jeans, because we worked at Jeans at the same time.
Yeah.
Right before I went to CC.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
Very weird for me too. I remember like one class, and it's because the teacher yelled at me because I wrote a paper on, like, she wanted us to like create a product and like sell it. And I created like, dessert flavored cigarettes. And she was so upset with me.
In the medical industry.
I know. Like looking back, not the best, but like it just was very creative. Like,
idea.
Yeah. I was like, well, you can get cookie flavored ones.
Vapes are that now. Somebody stole vapes from you.
And I was all put down because of this teacher. I could have been a billionaire. No, I would not want to sell vapes. Ruining lives.
Yeah.
Bad feelings.
Okay. So Baker.
Yeah.
A piece of history that I don't remember at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went to MCC.
And then I went to MCC, which is where
basketball.
Yep. And it was so weird. So I played basketball in high school, loved it. And I only had like MCC looking at me outside of high school, and I wanted to be done and go to a big college, hence Central. So I just like didn't really look into it. And then they got a new coach the same year I was transferring into MCC. And he called me and was like, we still have film on you. I'm trying to build a team. Like, do you want to be on the team? And I was like, I haven't played in 2 years. He's like, whatever, just come to an open gym. And I did, still had it. So
There we go.
yeah.
Nice.
And they offered to pay scholarships for me. So I was like, yeah. Like, and then I knew I could just get my general associates in arts and science. So I did that. And it was the most fun 2 years I had of college. Like, it was so much fun. I played sports, and anyone that goes to a CC knows like all the sports teams are close, and you can like, I put all my classes Monday through Wednesday so I could party Thursday through Sunday, and yeah, just a lot of fun. Got to live up there and just hang out with my friends.
Yeah. You did have a really fun couple years there because I would come and hang out with you there, and it was very, very fun. Not all parts of you living in Muskegon were fun. There were some scary things that happened when you were living there, but
yeah.
Okay, so you went there, and I guess I didn't even realize that you went there. My memory is just so bad these days. I like really thought that you went there only because you wanted to play basketball and you like just didn't really know what you wanted to do anymore. But you went for the gen eds, and it just so happened that basketball was an option.
Yeah, and then once they offered money, I was like, it's a no-brainer. Like, of course I'm going to do that because then it saves me money. Yeah. And I used all my loans to pay for my rent. So I do have student loans, but I just paid for all my rent, so I didn't have to work.
Same thing. I think that's something that like nobody really talks about with student loans.
Right.
Is my student loans, I was working the entire time I was in school, and then I was going to school and I was taking out student loans, but I had to take out enough to pay like all of my bills as well as that, because then also working, I was paying for like groceries, and that's how much money I was making because that's how much time I had.
Yeah.
So like my rent and everything else was paid through my student loans. So the $126,000 racked up really quickly because I had to pay all of my expenses as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing, and it was because I played basketball. I did have like a little part-time. I always worked retail like on the side. So I always ended up doing like Victoria's Secret and like Dick's Sporting Goods and fun things like that.
Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body Works.
You have like rotated out like all of the retail spaces.
I have, and I still work at Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, technically.
I'm doing a 4-set this Sunday.
Oh, you are? Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, you always rotate back into that. That's nice. You even did that in the military. So we're going to transition military. Yes. So I also considered going into the military. Like it was when I was living in Dallas, and I couldn't figure out if I needed to move back home, if I was going to move to Houston to live with Tyler's parents. And like, I was honestly to the point where I was so upset being in Dallas that I was like, Tyler and I might not be together anymore. I might just go in the military, be by myself, and like start life over. And then I like remembered all the stories about mom and dad and how you get yelled at all the time and all of this stuff, and like Chelsea going through basic training. And Chelsea's very, very built for the military. Chelsea's our oldest sister, by the way. She's 4 years older than me, so 2-3 years older than you.
She's 35 right now, right? I think she just turned 35.
Yeah, just turned 35. Yeah. So she is built for it. But when I like heard all about the military, I was like, no, not for me. But you did decide to go even after hearing all the stories of mom. Our grandpa was in the Navy. Mom and dad were in the Air Force, Chelsea Air Force. And then you decided to go into the Air Force. Like, was it just because you had no idea what you wanted to do? Like, you just looked past all of that and you were like, I'm just military it is?
Yep. I was literally so broke, you guys, and just like panic attack. Like, I'm broke. I knew I wanted to get more school as well. And looking back now, it's so funny how like society has adjusted, because I think now I would say, and I don't want to put down like getting a degree, because I do think it helps. It shows like ambition and tenacity to keep going back for education. I'm still doing it, but like then I was so hell-bent on getting a bachelor's, because to me in my brain, I was like, an associate's is just not enough. Like, I won't get hired. No one will, like, in my
I think our generation has that. It was like, oh, and then all of a sudden a bachelor's degree wasn't enough. So, like, I went for a master's, because if you have a master's, you have to get a job.
Right.
And now I just think that, like, the generation under us maybe has that a little more figured out.
Yeah.
Not everything in life figured out, but that specifically.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's just shifted now, and you don't necessarily, it's, to me, more about, like, networking, who you know, your creativity, like, things like that. You don't necessarily need those degrees. I will say, though, like, every piece of education I've gotten, I've like met new people, and it's led me down different paths. So I think there's a purpose in it, but I don't think everyone has to do it to be successful.
Yeah. But so you were thinking about furthering your education by going into the military?
Yeah, because I knew, so the little things I did know about the military, I will say, like, your girl did not do her research. I didn't ask questions. I didn't like go to people, and that was a mistake. Like, I would say if you're gonna join, definitely like talk to a lot of people and get all the ins and outs, because it's just like any other type of job. Like, it's a contract, and you need to have things in your contract. But I knew, the one thing I knew is they would pay for school, and they do. And so I knew I could get my bachelor's, and then I was going to pay off student debt while I was in as well, because obviously study paycheck as you're going through. And so that was the thing that sent me, and they had open jobs and picked me up right away. And so I knew I would be able to get in there right away too.
Yeah. And obviously, like, there was downsides and upsides to being in the military. We don't even have to talk about the downsides, but I think that the places that you ended up being stationed influenced your current business a lot. And so can you talk about where you were originally stationed and then your second base, and like how those have influenced the choices that you're making with your business now? Because I think that like the culture and things like that really played into it.
Yeah, I agree. So funny enough, so you get like assigned a station while you're in tech school, which tech school is like you get your job. So like I was a cop and I was going to tech school. It's months of training where you learn like what you're going to do, and you receive your duty station while you're doing that. And then they'll ship you off. And as a cop, you can go anywhere in the world. So it was super exciting. And actually my flight, which is like all the people you're training with, probably like, I think I had 60 to 80 people. Everyone except 2 of us got their duty station on the same day, and we didn't. And we were like, what the heck? Like, and it was all overseas, and learning something new about the military. If you don't get that one, it means you're coming out with the stateside. So I got stuck stateside, which I was so bummed about because I wanted to travel. Like, once I knew I could go overseas, I was like, yes. I got Grand Forks, North Dakota, which was 7 hours from our house. And I was so upset
And so close to the Canadian border.
yes, I was just like, what? And it's cold and all the things. So I was super bummed, right? Well, there was this kid in my tech school, and you can do one trade throughout your career in the military. You can trade a duty station. They say it's easier to do it when you're in tech school. And so I got this kid, he was going to Hawaii and he didn't want it.
That is wild
Crazy,
to me.
right?
Like, so crazy to not choose to go to Hawaii, but it benefited you.
It did, and he loved it. Like, I caught up with him like a few years later, and he was like, I'm so happy I made the decision. Like, I do like the base, all the things, right? And so it worked out for him too.
Nice.
So yeah, we ended up trading, and it worked out well. And I went to Hawaii. I stayed at Hickam Air Force Base for 3 years. And then from there, when I was there, I went over for a mission, or they call it a deployment, but like, not really a deployment, over to South
Not like
Korea.
what people traditionally think of as a
Right,
deployment.
as a deployment. It like starts your counter for a deployment, but like it's not your traditional deployment. And so I got to go over there, was supposed to go for a month. And then once we got over there, like literally right when you're supposed to leave, they're like, you're staying longer, and you just have to stay longer until they tell you can leave. And so I was there for like 4.5 months in the middle of me being in Hawaii. And that kind of inspired me to want to go back. So I put in to go there next, and I got it. And from there, I was supposed to, once you get an overseas tour that's short like that, it's a year, you'll go to another base, which was going to be England. But I ended up getting stuck in South Korea during COVID. Literally the day before I was supposed to leave, the day before they passed the stop movement, which just meant we couldn't go anywhere. And so being stuck in South Korea, I said, I'm just going to extend. Like, I loved it there. Like you were talking about, like the culture was very inspiring, and like, I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. So I ended up staying there for just about 3 years. And then right before I got out, I went back to Hawaii for 6 months.
I forgot about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, these like pieces of my brain just, oh yeah, because you had to get your car and everything
Right.
too. Okay.
I did my internship there. I did it. And that's when I bought my car, was like during that little internship.
I do remember that because yeah, mom came and stayed with you during that time. For some reason, I thought that was before Korea.
Dropped it.
So in Korea specifically, one of the reasons that I think it inspired like the products that you use in your current business now is because it's like a lot of natural products, specifically like Korean skincare is very, very popular. And you used to like buy it and tell us to try it all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think that people think maybe being in the military, you're like only working, you're only on base. So how did you like even find all of this stuff? Do you like go into town? Were you introduced to people, or did you just like go shopping and then just try stuff? Like, how do you find like all natural products that you fell in love with?
Yeah, it was more of just like self-exploring. Especially before COVID hit, there wasn't too many restrictions on like what you were allowed to be out doing as long as you weren't working. So I would just go explore like different stores, and I did have a really hard time in the military because of like different things that happened. And so for me, I started going like a spa was like my sanctuary, and there they had the most amazing places, like massage places and facials, and it would be so much cheaper than in the States, but they would use like very natural products. I remember I went into a facialist place and asked for a chemical peel, and I was like 25 or 26, and they refused to do it. They were like, no, 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 you're too young, like that. You shouldn't be doing that till you're like 40. And that kind of prompted me to like start digging into like why they feel that way, what about it, and they just take so much more of a natural approach to things like that. And not saying like I'm sure there are sides that they don't, and I know they do plastic surgery and things like that too. But that's just kind of what started me like going into the deep dive and really loving not only like the skincare side of it, but also just being able to find a place that was like calm and like better for my soothing to my nervous system, I guess. Like me and one of my friends, we started to like take the time to do some self-care like every so often, because I think that's something I'm like a very routine person, and being in the military and having that type of personality just doesn't mix. Like you have to, there's just too much change going on. And so like having that constant of being able to go to these places and calm down and do, was really inspiring to me. And then just in general, like going out there, they are very active. Like they have a very active lifestyle. They eat very healthy. And they're always like outdoors walking around and just, calm, like looking at the scenery. And so that was just really inspiring to me too, because I don't feel like we take that pause in America. I feel like in society, we're just very fast paced. And so, yeah, that was kind of just how Korea was for me. I loved it.
Yeah, I know you loved it. And it's so funny because you're like kind of the same, like you're obviously like still you, but
Hmm.
you came back very different than like the person who left for the military,
Yeah,
and you're much more calm now. And you're also just like much more assertive in like the things that you want. So I think it
yeah,
made you very sure of who you like, the things that you want. So
yeah,
I think that it like overall, I don't, again, like there was probably downsides to the military, or I know that there was downsides to the military for
yeah,
you, but I think that overall it was a really good experience for you. But I also think that now you saying that like they live a slow lifestyle, it also plays into like how you're structuring the appointments that your business is setting and how
for
long
sure.
you're setting your appointments and things like that. Like you are trying to provide this luxury experience that's not rushed, because luxury and like calm and that those types of experiences shouldn't be rushed, and that really plays into the hospitality aspect of this
Yes.
podcast. So I'm really glad that we can like loop that in there. But
Yeah.
let's fast forward. We're like a year, and I was said a year and a half in these notes. Apparently 3 years from you getting out of the military, but a year and a
Yeah.
half into like you going back to school for this kind of thing specifically.
Right.
And you went through a traditional, I guess, cosmetology program and now an
Hmm.
esthetician program.
Yep.
And even through all of that, you still made the choice to, one, start your own business, and two, not necessarily use the products that they taught you to use. You still are sticking to your all natural product range. So can you talk about why you are like so adamant about that? Because I think that obviously there's like a ton of people who don't care one way or the other, but I think
Yeah.
there's so many people, especially now, that are caring about the things that we put on our body just as much as the things we put in our body. And so
Hmm.
can you talk through like why you decided to kind of stick with that even after going through an education process that didn't necessarily teach you that?
Yeah. I think it really started kind of in my personal life along with like school life. So in school specifically, we would use like I would do hair color like in cosmetology, and my eyes would water so bad. Like I would be blow drying their hair, the color's already washed out and my eyes are just burning crying tears, and I'm like, what's going on? So I start looking it up, and it just has like the ammonia and just these chemicals and this stuff can affect people. And then I'm like meeting people. I have a bunch of clients who are experiencing hair loss and they're like apologizing, which is so sad because it's like, what are you apologizing? You know, and I'm curious, like, why is this happening? I'm very like education based. I love like figuring these things out. And then in my own personal life, I've just taken a lot more of a wellness route. Figuring out like my own nervous system and figuring out how to soothe that. And
Yeah,
in a
you
lot
started
of,
getting like acupuncture done, things like
mhm,
that. Like things that I would never even consider doing because
yeah.
it just like scares me, but it seems to really benefit you.
Yeah, and I wanted to do it. So in researching just a lot of these like chemical, like a lot of these issues too, it's showing that a lot of the products we use, because you can compare it to other countries, and a lot of the stuff we use has a lot of chemicals that they're not allowed to use, and a lot of them are hormone disruptors. And so that's kind of what started interesting me, and then realizing like all of the different things these can cause, like even you, like you have sensitive skin. And I think
Hmm.
it's so interesting
I never get
because
facials or anything done specifically because of my
of
sensitive
that.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's like it's not you, it's the products we're using. And
Hmm.
so, which are unavoidable. Like I'm not trying to be like a scary like, oh, look at everything cuz that's just impossible. We're
Yeah.
human beings, but we can be a lot more intentional with what we do and what we put in our bodies. And in like doing all this research and figuring it out and looking in everywhere, um not only is there a wellness movement, so that did make it easier to like look into it because I'm not the first person to think of this,
Hmm.
but there's not as many as you would think. They're just like, I think, especially in the beauty world, like it's very fast paced. And that was something in cause that scared me too, is I was like, this is not calming at all. Like we're trying to in and out, flip the chair, get the, using all
Hmm.
these chemicals. Like it was not
To make the
calming to
process
me.
as fast as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think, yeah, it just like led me into looking into like more natural based products and what could be safe for people. I'm very intentional with the whole service. Like I want every piece of it to be relaxing. And to me, that goes into like the products I'm putting on them because I also want my clients to be able to take these products home and work with them, and if they have concerns about, their skin or scalp and allergies, I want to be able to help them change that.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to look at those ingredients.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, you talking about being like intentional about the whole process too.
Mhm.
I think that that's very clear in like the way that you set up everything too, like the way that you set up your salon or spot, or I don't even know.
Right.
Is
It's
it a
like a little,
salon?
it's like a, I know, I've
Spa?
never,
Maybe it's more of a spa. We'll call it a spa.
yeah,
Yeah.
a spawn.
The way that spa.
Spawn.
The way that you set it up, I think, is really intentional too. But I also love that you like blended the Asian culture into it
Hmm.
because like with the name and like the process of even how you're doing your treatment specifically is more Japanese focused.
Hmm.
Because I like living in Thailand, I learned how hospitable the Asian culture is in general and
Yeah.
just like being there. And I was even there during a time where I didn't get to interact with that many people, but the
Right.
people that I did interact with, like I would go and get my nails done, and like just like the care that they took doing everything was very clear, and they weren't in a rush at all.
Right.
The ladies who did my nails, they didn't use a drill at all. They like filed down, and I was getting acrylics. They would file down to like the thin nails that I wanted. They would file the shape, like they didn't use drills at all. And I was like, they're not moving fast. Like they're not in a rush to get this done. They want me to sit
No.
here and relax and be here as long as possible.
Hmm.
And so it's clear that like you're taking that inspiration and creating that experience for people. One thing that somebody asked you at your grand opening, and I think you had such a good answer for it.
Am I
And I
gonna
think that
remember?
I just think that this is like something, because not everybody at this stage knows what a head spa is or like what scalp health or scalp treatments are. So she asked you, why is scalp health important? And you answered this so well.
I think I remember part of it. That was my friend Britt. So I think it's a mix of things. Like the skin on our scalp is the same as the skin on our face, right? So a lot of people don't realize that, and that we don't treat it the same. We don't, exfoliate it or hydrate it, and that's when things can come in and cause concerns, such as like itchy scalp, dandruff. All of those things are so normal because everyone has them, but they are something that can be treated or taken care of or, made lighter, things like that. And I don't think people realize that because in talking to people about head spa a lot, they're like, yeah, I've had these issues, but I don't know who to go to. You go to your doctor, they put you on steroids, which, could possibly make it worse, could make it better. You just don't know. And there's only a certain range of things that I've at least seen that providers do. And so I think one thing is taking care of an issue, whether it's like itching or, visibly, people are experiencing hair loss, especially after COVID. I also think a huge part of it is, confidence. Like to me, everyone is confident about or in some way about their appearance, like they care about their hair. They like to style it, whatever that is. And I don't necessarily think that means like coloring and all that stuff, but I think just as a whole feeling confident too, like bringing the wellness portion into it. Like maybe you like how your hair looks, but if you're itching your scalp all the time, that's something that's going to bother you. And if you don't have that itch, your confidence is going to go up, right? Like I think it just is intertwined. And then tying into it like whole wellness too, a lot of these issues or concerns are from within. So a lot of people don't realize that, and taking out some intentional time to change some habits. I think that's something I like to work on with my clients is like I ask them lifestyle questions and say like, okay, well maybe we'll have a little homework and do this. So yeah, I guess back to your question, like confidence and then just those concerns too. Like nobody likes to have those things on their scalp.
Yeah. See, that was such a good answer because I think that like the health of it is something that people will realize over time as like head spas and scalp treatments become more of a thing. But I do think that the confidence part of it is such a big part. And I think the issue is that people don't think that like some things are a quick solution. And not all of it is, like depending on the extent of everything, not all of it's going to be a quick solution. But like for me specifically, you recommended this toner to put on after I washed my hair because I was having flaking. And it literally takes me 5 seconds after I take a shower to like spray it. I rub it in and then I like blow dry my hair like I normally would. Right. And so like, well, I'll even talk to Sarah. Sarah will talk about wanting all these things because she like works out and her hair is so thick. And so she has all these things with her scalp. And she's like, I just don't have the time to like do all of this stuff. So either you're adding these products into people's like routines that they already have that are really simple, but also this treatment that like is just as regular or can be just as regular as getting your nails done or getting your hair done, and you just put that into your self-care routine, and then it can benefit you more in that way. So I think it's really, as people learn about what it is, I think it's going to like help a ton of people and it'll become like a normal part of people's self-care routines. But can you describe like what your services actually are, like the few packages that you have, and then what it looks like to like come into an appointment with you or what they can book with you?
Yeah. So right now I'm offering, I guess, like 3 different areas. I have scalp facials, well, kind of 4, I guess. Scalp facials, health haircuts is what I call them, a few styling services, and then body treatments. So my biggest focus right now is going to be the scalp facials, and just like it says, like facials, but for your scalp, we're really focusing on the scalp, not as much the hair. Obviously, like we're shampooing the hair in between, but I'm really focusing on treating that scalp. When you come in for that, and with every appointment I do, except the body services, I do a complimentary scalp analysis. So we're looking at your scalp through a microscope.
This is so cool, you guys.
Yeah.
When you do it, you get to see the screen. First of all, it's like kind of scary when you see it right away. And then I caught myself like being embarrassed that people would see something that I didn't want them to see. But you are so good at talking through that, like all of these things are normal, and explaining what they are, like explaining the difference between flakes and dandruff and like why the dandruff could be there and like things that you could do to kind of counteract that. But I interrupted you. Scalp analysis first.
No, I mean, I think you said it best. I think that's something I realized too. Like people do get embarrassed, and it's like, no. Like everyone's scalp looks like this microscopically almost. Like, yes, some can be worse than others, different concerns. And the thing about it is you fluctuate throughout your whole life, like especially in Michigan, different seasons, different hormones, all the things. And so it's like, it's not embarrassing. It's so normal. And I want people to know that. And yeah, so we start scalp analysis. And then once I'm able to see your scalp, typically what I like to do, and so far what I've been seeing in people, is like a good just I just do a general scalp facial on them. So that includes like light exfoliation, some deep hydration, a lot of massage work, because then it resets your scalp and you have, and now I can go back and after the treatment, I do another scalp analysis and we can kind of see where your scalp is at baseline because I don't want you to come there with clean hair. Like I don't, a lot of people do, they'll wash their hair prior and it's like, no, I want you to come as you are.
Like a normal, what you
Yep.
normally would do on a daily basis.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll do like a good reset. And then I can look at your scalp again and kind of get an idea. Like I can also talk to you about like, are you oily? How quick do you get oily? How often do you wash your hair? Like, how often do we clean our brushes? Things like that to try to
Never.
figure, right. Yep. And to figure like out all these things, like, and also when my client comes in too, and on my consultation form, I ask, like, are you here just for relaxation? Are you here for concern? You can be here for both. Like, kind of get a guideline for what they're there for. Because if you don't have a concern, that's fine. And if this is your self care, that's why in my treatments, I incorporate massage work, neck and shoulder. My luxury package includes a mini facial, and I do hand and arm, foot massages, hot towels. That way, it's not just, scalp care. You're also getting like a self-care relaxation moment. So kind of 2 in 1, and then a little therapy too, talking. So my packages, I have the luxury one, which I said includes like massage work and mini facial and all the scalp care. I have a silver package is what I call it. It's like the gin package, and that one is just more of just the scalp care. It doesn't include massage and facial. It does still include some massage work up on the shoulders and the head. And then my third one is I call it the dry scalp facial. So this is for all my people who are nearing wash day and they want a good like treatment on their scalp, but they don't necessarily need me to wash it. So we won't use water. And maybe you also want to kind of figure out what a scalp facial is like, but you don't want to pay all that money. So it's my cheapest version. And you come in and I do a lot of the massage work. I still put a treatment on, but we just don't use water. So I'm not cleansing the hair. And then a lot of massage work, and you can kind of see what it's like. And then you can go home and wash your hair yourself or the next morning. Cause depending on your scalp, you might keep the treatment in overnight.
Yeah, that would be so nice because like the day before or even the day of hair wash day, I'm always like, oh, now I have to put my oil on my hair.
Right.
I'm usually like oil, slick back. And then I'm like pulling my hair super tight. And so to like go get somebody to actually like massage it in and stuff for me. Oh my gosh, that would be so nice.
Yeah, it's so calming for me too. I love it. So
yeah, it has been really fun watching you put this together because obviously there's all the stressful parts of starting a business, and we can touch on that in a little bit. I want to talk through like the little bit of struggles that have like happened with like setting up your spot and stuff, just because I think pulling back the curtain is really nice for other people that are trying to set up a business. But you've been so passionate, and like you'll all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, I learned this, and this. And I'm like, she's also educating herself while putting together this business. And I genuinely don't know how you have time for it all. Yeah. And so I can tell like how much you care about the product that you're providing. Yeah. And not everybody does. And so I think that that's really cool. But I do want to talk about the struggles that you've had while putting your business together, because obviously there's like the general, like not knowing how to set up the sales and use tax. Like there's those that's like very general. I think everybody has those problems and everybody has those questions. We need people to just do it for us that are not as expensive as some of them are, but I guess there's a reason they're expensive.
Yeah, or cough, have the system may be better or more
it's
easier.
So confusing.
Like, so self-explain some instructions. I don't know. Like, but it's nice because it really does make you connect with other, like, it's been so good to have you and Sarah because it's like contacting you for everything I need. I'm like, how do you do this? How do you do this? And you guys always have an answer.
Yeah, it's so hard. And we have people ask us that all the time. And I can be like, this is how I did it, and like hope that I did it right. And then like you can go and hire a lawyer to set all of that up for you, or hire like a CPA. But when you're starting a business, you don't have that kind of money. Nobody has that kind of money to start their business like that. And even like Steven, our CPA, will say that. He's like, I'm not for everybody because I'm not cheap. He's like, I'm not probably for people that are starting out, but you will need him eventually. Like if you grow to a certain point, or like there's like other CPAs that are specific to other industries. He's obviously short-term rental specific, but like you need somebody once you grow to that size. But at the very beginning, we're all bootstrapping it and figuring it out. So I think there's those general things. But as far as like finding your spot, the issues that you've had installing things. Can you like talk a little bit about like the issues that you've run into and kind of had to push through and problem solve? Because that's literally what being an entrepreneur is you're a professional problem solver.
Professional problem solver. Yes. Which I think is also why it took until this point in my life to start a business, because that is something I'm still adapting to. Like, I am a person, I want things to work the first time, and it's so frustrating, but it's like fun to watch yourself become resilient and fix these problems. And it also helps a lot to have the most amazing support circle. Like,
it's so needed,
insane.
especially because like all of us have the days where we are just crying and we want to scrap it all, and we're like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to own my own business. I want to go back and work for somebody else. Like, we all go through those days. And then there's the people that, like you, push through it and figure it out and get there. And so you have a support system, but what are the things that you had to figure out?
So finding my space was a big one. I really had like a specific area I wanted to be in, like for demographic wise and things like that. And so that was hard in itself. A lot of times, like, I would find some places and I would go and the contracts would be wonky, or like what they were telling me to my face. And then they would go to have me sign a contract and I would read through it and like 5 things would be different.
Oh, and read your contracts, people.
Please do.
You read them line by line, just like me. Sarah, the people who are listening to this episode know that Sarah's not like this and that I have to read our contracts. And Sarah will tell you, she's like, I'll sign it and then figure it out later. Read your contracts, people.
Read them and have someone else read them, and find people who are good at asking. You and Mom are really good at, like, if I come to you with something, like asking the questions I don't think of. And just kind of taking your time and not jumping. So that was something I think I was good at, was like not jumping to sign something. So that was hard in itself, but then I did find a suite, and I found her on Facebook Marketplace, actually. And it just was in the right area, felt like the right fit. I met with her. She's wonderful. And like kind of the idea, the same, she's like growing her business right now too. And she's renting out to other new businesses.
She's so smart, the way that she's like set that up, renting it out to people.
Yes.
That was smart of her.
And just so smart. She like was intentional about like each having different services. That way we can refer clients and stuff. Just super sweet and really thoughtful of other business owners. And so found her that way. Well, then we get everything done. And like, she didn't know this either. She's an esthetician. She's not a cosmetologist. And we talked about like how much water we need. And she's like, yeah, we've got the water services. She talked to the building, whatever. We were good to go. I also had a lot of issues with my bed. So I had ordered a shampoo bed. And it's specifically like a Japanese head spa bed. There are different ones, and most of the ones you can order in the States, they're actually Chinese head spa beds.
The ones that we see all over TikTok and stuff. They're the Chinese head spa beds.
Yeah, because it's like those are like a bed connected to like a portable sink, or even it's a plumb sink, but it's not like fully connected. Whereas like a Japanese one, the sink and the bed unit are fully connected, and it's electric, so it's like ergodynamic for I don't even know if that's a word. Ergodynamic. I don't know. But basically it's good for your back and your legs. You're not laying flat, because that's also something I wanted to be intentional about with clients. Like, you don't want to be
uncomfortable. The way that like when you're in a shampoo bed, you're actually uncomfortable when they're washing your hair, even though the hair wash is nice.
Yeah, but you just don't want your body uncomfy. So that I had issues with my bed. They didn't ship it in time, and then once they went to ship it, they sent me a different bed that was $3,000 less, and they just tried to, they were like, it's all we have left. Like, I think they had sold the other one, and so
not my problem,
right? Like, I need my money back, absolutely. And so that, I mean, it all panned out. Like, it was very stressful. It was weeks of going back and forth with them. I think you
had to like have a lot of follow up, which is something that not all of us want to do, but like as the person in charge, you got to push through the like insecurity of pissing people off.
Right. And you gave me really good I will never forget your advice, and I tell it to people all the time: be the squeaky wheel, because the squeaky wheel gets fixed, or at least they give you something to shut you up for a little bit,
they like want you to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Which it's so funny that I gave you that advice, because I'm the worst at it. I try to like do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
But like I'm trying to get better at it. But anybody around me that's having problems, I'm like, no, I want your problems fixed. I'll like figure
Right.
mine out, but like I want yours fixed now.
Right.
And that's
I want to
probably why
help
I
you
give you that
fix
advice.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an empath.
Literally.
Um, but yeah, so that, I mean, I figured that out. And then what else has gone on? Oh, so the water thing, right?
Yes.
Spawned off there. Squirrel. So we get in, I finally get my bed in, which I think was like 3 months late.
Yeah,
Which
and
was,
one of the issues that she's not mentioning is she's being nice to them. They tried to blame the California fires for the bed. They was like way too late shipping this bed. Like it should have been shipped well before the
yeah,
fires
like
happened.
2 months before.
And then they're sending her this email trying to like play into her feelings, being like, "Oh, we're being affected by the California fires. I'm so sorry for you, but you're still a business and this was supposed to be shipped forever ago.
Right.
Figure it out."
And I'm like losing money. And yeah, it was just hard because I really am empathetic to stuff like that. But and I
Same.
said to them, like, I'm so sorry and I hope you're not affected, but I do expect communication. So if it is pushed back, I'm fine with that. But tell me when it's pushed back too.
You needed to tell me when the other bed wasn't coming. You needed to
Yes.
tell me there was a new bed, and you needed to tell me why it wasn't coming in time.
Yeah. Because it was literally every 2 weeks for 3 months of them saying, like, oh, we're looking for it. We're looking into it. And then my contact, she ended up quitting and she didn't send me anything. I couldn't get a hold. It was a nightmare. Like I just, of course, was having all these mental breaks. Finally get the bed, right? We get it shipped in, get it moved in, installed, plumbed. And I get my mom in to practice my first service. And I'm thinking, okay, in a month, I'm going to open to the public. And this is 3 months ago, I think, or 4 months ago. I get my mom in for a service, and within 4 minutes, my water is ice cold. And I'm like, what the heck? And so I'm like running it more, still won't go back warm. So I just finish up the service, and about an hour later, I check, and it's warm again, but like lukewarm. So I'm like, okay. So I messaged my girl, the girl I rent from, and she says like, yeah, that's so weird. Like, let's look into it. I said, well, and our mom knows this. I feel like moms just know everything. I don't know. It's so weird. She goes, well, how big is the water heater? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Why would I know that? Like, they said water's included. I said, okay. And I plumbed my
All
bed.
water
Like,
heaters are the same, right?
all water heaters are the same. Yeah. And so I asked her that, and she says it's 6 gallons. And I still didn't know exactly what that meant, but I assumed it wasn't enough because I just didn't. And which now looking back, hello, you're running a cosmetology like salon or spa, you should know. But we didn't know, and the girl I rent from didn't know either. And
Yeah,
she's
she
like,
doesn't really use water. Well,
no,
probably not a lot in her service,
no,
right?
like, yeah, not a lot. And like,
Not as long as you, because yours is like constant running for a while.
Well, and I guess I kind of did know because when I talked to her, I said I would need 11 to 15 gallons of water per service. I did know that, I guess. And like, but we just didn't look at the water heater for some reason. So then like,
I mean, like a commercial building like that, you would think that it would be bigger.
Yeah, and
there's like so many suites in that place.
There is, and I guess there's a 30-gallon one, but it's on the other side of the building, and not. It couldn't route to like my bed. My bed was only able to route to the 6 gallon. The 6 gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then just have to figure that out. So looked at a ton of different solutions, getting the water heater replaced by the building owners. They said no, like not our job. Like you guys have to figure it out. And so then I just kind of went to problem solving, and my family was so helpful, like just helping me get in contact with people, plumbers, all the things. And so we put in like a tankless water heater, and it works great. Like it's also a good investment because if I ever end up moving, I can take it with me, gives me hot water I need. Like, but yeah, it was just a whole long process. And that whole process took up until a week before my grand opening, like 2 weeks before, I think. So it took quite some time. And then the girl I rent from, she was very helpful. She like helped me out with like rent and stuff since I wasn't able to be working, and she knew like that.
Yeah.
It was
and
part
you were
of
good
her
about
issue.
like negotiating that too. I think that like she handled the negotiation as good as she could based on the situation, but you also had to negotiate that too. And so that's part of it, right? Like if you get into situations like that, when like you run into stuff, even if it's not your fault, sometimes you do have to come out of pocket for it. So like you still did have to pay rent, even though you weren't getting people in, but you were able to negotiate like splitting some things up and making it kind of what did the lawyer say to Sarah? A good negotiation means both of you hate it.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty much it. Like
Yeah.
neither of you is really happy with it, right? Because she's not necessarily getting everything and you're still having to pay, but
Yeah.
it's like the best situation that you could have gotten out of it. So yeah, you did run into those issues. But while all of this was going on, you were still like working with companies to like find product that you really wanted to have in there and like testing all of that out. And then you were setting it up. So you got it like painted and furnished and
Yep. And I took a bunch of different scalp certification courses, and in tandem, I was still in esthetician school as well. So that was really good because I learned a lot about like more of the spa side and ingredients. We learned about like quite a few ingredients while we're in there. And so it was just, yeah, a good mix of like education whilst getting my business ready. And by the end of it, I was a little burnt out. It was a little insane, but that's okay.
yeah. I mean, you were going to school full time and doing like getting a business running full time. So
Yeah.
we just don't do anything slowly in this family. We
No.
like put way too much on our plate. So
Yeah.
but on Sunday, you had your grand opening. So you're
did.
officially open. Your books are officially open. I know we're getting to the end of this. So I want you to let people know where you're located, what days you're open, and where they can find you.
Yes. So I'm located in Grand Rapids, right off of Burton, right there by like West Elm Village. So it's on Ardmore Street, and there's a School of Rock. We're right behind that. It's called like the Village Professional Building, little brown building. We are our Suite 200 on the second floor, and it's called Self Care Skin Studios. And there's multiple providers in there. So I've got 2 rooms in the back. My open hours, typically I'm a Thursday through Sunday from noon to 8. I am by appointment only though, and I do open up some other days. It would all be on my booking app, which is through Vagaro right now. We are going to be making a change in about a month because I did find a really good booking app, but that will all be launched on my social media. So I do have a Facebook page, I have an Instagram page, and my Instagram has my book now link. I also have the link. I have a phone number and an email so people can book that way as well. What were your other inquiries?
I think that's it. Her stuff will be linked in the bio. So you can find Ikigai Head Spa on Facebook and Instagram, and then they'll be linked in the bio so you guys can go and book a service with her.
Yes, I would just love to see people, love to meet people, and I don't know, just I really care about people and humans, and I feel like the hard things I've been through, I think everyone goes through hard things, everyone at every level, and I think everyone needs time to slow down. And so I'm really passionate about, I do feel like you can feel people's energy, and I have really worked to calm mine. Like you said, I came back, so it's something I'm very proud of, and I really want to spread that to other people and help people, kind of be the same way. So
good. Well, thanks for coming on the episode.
Thanks for
this
having
was
me.
fun.
I feel like we could have talked for hours.
I know, literally. I usually am really keeping track of time, but I have no idea how long this episode was. So hopefully it was long enough.
What time is it?
I
I didn't even crack open my liquid death. Should we do a little ASMR?
Oh, yeah, go for it. Nice, right
This
at the
is my
end.
first try. Let's see.
Okay, well, you guys all know how much we love liquid death.
It's very delicious.
Very delicious.
Just a smooth water.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, follow her on social media, book a service with her if you guys want to have a very relaxing luxury experience and learn more about your scalp health. I literally learned so much just looking at my scalp 2 different times, and I have a product that I now use on a regular basis. So thanks for coming on. If you guys don't follow us, you should follow us on wherever you're listening, rate and review us, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.